All right, I'm recording some notes on trying to refine my skills with Audition to remove noise. Over the past couple of years, I've developed some additional mouth noises and things due to the surgery, radiation, all those kinds of things. It's been very difficult to locate and remove them. So one of the things that I understand but have not been able to really come to terms with is the spectral view. Now, Tuesday night with Alex DeWeese, there was a question about using the spectral view, and I understand using the spectral view. I understand how it's set up, what information is displayed. My problem was what it looked like as compared to what I was seeing. So I've seen a couple other people use the spectral display as it appears right here, and they've done really well with it. To me, this is hard to figure out. So this is my default spectral display. What was confusing to me is the way that Alex DeWeese spectral view appeared. And the reason why it was somewhat confusing is because I was seeing the blobs, and he's got this really nice, well-ordered looking map here. And he would be able to zoom in and find certain things because he knew where they were at. So I can locate things in the waveform. I know right where a click is, but then when I went into this spectral view, I wasn't able to identify what it was by looking at it because all I could see were the blobs. That's what I call them. I've watched a number of videos on how to use the spectral view. I did find a video by Mike Russell. I'm going to put a link to that in the description where he talks about it. There's probably other people that have talked about it. Somehow I missed them all. So last night, as I was working in Adobe Audition, I had a file open that I was using as a test file, and it kept bringing up the spectral view, and I accidentally hit something while it was open. And I went from the blob view to something that looked like this. And then I zoomed in. It's like, well, I'm kind of back to the semi-blobs. That's what I call them. Now, in this particular view, I can't see. I could find a click up here in the waveform, but when I come down here, I can't see it. I just absolutely can't see it. All right, so here's a file that has a distinct click. In the waveform view, I can see the click. The click, there's one right here, there's one right here. There's a couple more here, looks like. So it's right there. Now when I move in the waveform view and I enlarge this, I can see that real sharp line there. That's a click. So I was actually working with attempting to learn how to remove that using X click, and I thought, well, I'll use the spectral view as well. So I pulled up the spectral view, and I can zoom in on where that click is because I've got my playhead right on it. They put the playhead, they back out. I'll put the playhead right on the click. It's right there. I can zoom in. Now, if I take out an area right through here, I can use the auto heal or the paintbrush tool or whatever. I can actually put my cursor right there. I can hold down the shift key and drag down in a straight line, and I'll probably get some of it. But the thing is, there's nothing here in this view that indicates that there's a click there. I don't see it. Now, when Alex was talking about it, he would have the view looking like this. And then he would start to zoom in on an area that indicated where the click was. And that area showed a spike, just a straight line spike right through there. That's very distinct. Now, with what I'm seeing, I don't see that. So I thought, well, maybe there's an adjustment over here. And I started playing around. And here are some things here that I started playing with. Started messing around with increasing and decreasing the resolution. And there are some, I'm not on my Mac right now, I'm on the Windows PC. On the Mac, these are going to be different combinations. But between logarithmic and linear, you can increase and decrease the resolution. So I started playing around with this and Control Alt down and Control Alt up. So it's kind of confusing. Control Alt down will make it more linear. Control Alt up will make it more logarithmic. And this is really interesting. Control Alt down. That was kind of interesting. Or Control Alt up. So that would change that a little bit. Then I got to playing around with the resolution. So increasing and decreasing, Control Shift up and down. Or down. Now I start to see more of what looks like Alex's screen. So this is where I started getting to. And that started looking more like what I was seeing with his. Now, this isn't quite where he's at. I've got to do some more adjustments and things, but this view here might be a little bit more descriptive. And if I zoom in here, maybe I can see a little bit more detail. I'm going to go back to the waveform view here. I just want to see this. There's that click right there. And there is a spike right here, right there. And that's the first time that I've been able to see that in this spectral view. Now there's other things, other ways of being able to set this. Mike Russell was talking about the preferences for the spectral view, spectral displays, and he went into some of this. This 32 is the normal resolution that can go up and down. You can play with these numbers here that will change it. You can do the same thing with the shortcut keys. But right now, that's a step forward as far as being able to use the spectral view. It doesn't look exactly as clean as what Alex has. I don't know if the file that he's actually working with has had some noise reduction or something. This purple up through here is pretty much maybe background. I've got a minus 63 to minus 64 noise floor, so it's not a real noisy file. Let me go back here. Let's see. Click kind of starts right there. You can see it. There's the sharp side of the click. And then it continues a little bit. So it's right there. So I'm right on it. So I want to try something here. So it's right there at the 40 mark. There's that line there. I just want to try this. See what happens. This is interesting. I can still see the clicks. That may not be exactly it.
But what does it mean? What does it mean?
Let me undo that. Yeah, that is.
But what does it mean?
That is definitely making a difference. You probably can't hear that.
What does it mean?
It has reduced it. So I'm in the right area. I'm heading in the right direction. I just have to work with this a little bit more to kind of refine that display to get it to where I want it. And it'll take some playing around so it pretty much matches what I need it to look like. So I thought I would go ahead and do that. My next step is to get back with X-Click. So I'm going to play around with this and with the displays and things and see what I can do. It's probably going to help. So I thought I'd just go ahead and do this more as a note to myself, but I thought I'd share it with anybody else who's interested as well, because this stuff can be pretty aggravating when you think about it. I'm going to put a link to Mike Russell's video in here because he really does some interesting adjustments with it. The resolution here, and he shows how to make it a little bit better than talking about the decibel range. So I'm going to mess around with those. He also covers what the default values are. I'm going to go back to 32. That's the default. So anyway, that is a step forward as far as understanding what I was seeing and why it looked different from what Alex had. And I think now I'm on the road to actually being able to identify things in here a little bit better. So watch Mike Russell's video, and I'm just going to play around with it. And eventually, I'm going to get rid of noise.